What is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? So Colin Cowherd just dropped his ranking of the best NBA players heading into next year's season, and we're going to be reacting to this video today. I'm actually dropping this same thing on my main channel with the top 50 guys, given that Kawhi and Klay would be healthy by mid-season. Obviously Klay will be ready by start, Kawhi hopefully by mid-season, but I mean that's probably getting my hopes up. But yeah, I'm going to be dropping that on my main channel, my top 50 players in a tier list. You should go check that out. It'll be maybe a controversial video. Yeah, we can get into that over there. But if you guys do enjoy these videos, drop a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. I'm interested to see where Colin has I don't know, because I remember I tweeted this out that pretty much in the middle, I think, the Hawks series, or at the end of, in the middle of the Nets series, Bucks vs. Nets, he made a video of his top 10 players currently in the playoffs, and Giannis wasn't even on that list. Now, I know he's going to have Giannis on this list, but where is he going to have him? Is he going to just retcon everything he said, go super recency bias and have Giannis number 1, or is he going to just, be like, I should have had him in there, have him at 2 or 3, So we'll see where he has these guys. Like always, I'll leave a link to this video in the description. Fox is going to copyright me, of course, because that's just what they do. And without further ado, we can get into this.
As of next year,
and this isn't coming out of my headphones. All right, take 2.
All right, here we go, Joy. As of next year, all this talk about who's the best players in the league. So I thought I'd make a list. The 10 best players entering next year.
Oh, yes, he's going to go from 10 to 1. Thank you. I hate when he does these lists, and he goes from 1 to 10. It's like there's no suspense in that.
Here we go.
Okay. Number 10.
Jason Tatum.
Whoa! Okay. All right. So, I don't have Tatum in mind. I think I had Tatum at 12 because I had AD at 11. I think I had Embiid at 10 with Jokic at 9, Lillard at 8, Harden at 7, Luka at 6, something like that. So, Tatum at 10, that means he leaves off a pretty big name. We'll see.
23, 24 years old. He had career highs, rebounds and points, averaged 34 a game in the playoffs.
I just I don't know, saying rebounds as something to back his reasoning up there is just funny to me.
He led the NBA in fourth quarter scoring.
It's impressive.
For anybody that bristles. That's a huge stat. Jason Tatum, number 10.
Number 9.
Damian Lillard.
Okay.
Led the NBA playoffs in three-pointers, 6 a game.
So it's tough because I feel like Dame, Luka, Harden, and Embiid are all kind of Dame, Luka, Embiid, and Jokic are kind of lumped together. So he has Dame as the lowest out of those 4 because he should have Embiid and Jokic, I'm hoping, in this top 10. I personally had Embiid the lowest out of that 4, and then I think I had Jokic, then Lillard, then Luka. Even though Jokic is the reigning MVP, I still think Damian Lillard's a better player. But all right. I mean, you got to give credit to the reigning MVP though. No, maybe I'm being too disrespectful to Jokic.
Was the best clutch time shooter in the playoffs.
Might be a little tough.
So most regard Steph Curry as a better shooter. Not in clutch numbers. In clutch time shooting, Dame is the best shooter in the NBA.
Number 8.
James Harden. I thought his ability to distribute the ball this year separated him a little bit from Damian Lillard. Now, he did miss a lot of games, and he has not been the playoff guy that Dame has. He's a big body, he gets to the foul line, and his ability to distribute, which he did very well for Brooklyn this year. He was a double-digit assist guy a lot of nights, puts him at 8.
Number 7.
And Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets. 26 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists. First MVP to play in every game since Kobe.
I mean, there's a thing with recency bias that will always be in there, and maybe he's just he's not ranking this based off their 2021 season. He's ranking them going into next year's season, and I still think Harden's a better player than Jokic. Yeah, I still believe that, and Harden's numbers aren't going to be as flashy as they were in Houston because he's playing with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, so they're going to be a little bit deflated due to his volume not being as high and his usage not being as high as it once was in with the Rockets. So I feel like that's going to put these popular mainstream rankings, it's going to drop him, even though I think pure talent-wise, if I'm starting a team trying to win a Game 7, I mean, it's not fault because Harden's never been all that great in the playoffs. I don't know, though. I still have Harden slightly in front of Jokic, not by any means 5 spots. It's literally just 1 or 2, I believe, in my tier list video, or maybe it was 3. But either way, they're top 10 players. I just personally would have Harden in front of Jokic still. I know Jokic is the reigning MVP, But I just like feel like Harden. I mean, he could be there. It's just like he was on a team where he was just never gonna like win MVP because like he was on the most stacked team in the NBA. So I don't know. I just disagree with that slightly, but I'm fine with Jokic in front of Harden. I mean, he's the reigning MVP, so like maybe I'm just disrespecting him too much. I'm not giving Jokic the credit he deserves because I believe he's a top 8 player. It's just I would maybe have him at 8 or 7 maybe, but like I've Harden and Lillard in front. So that's just my 2 cents.
I may have him low, but he is a playmaker at center. He is a point center. And the value there is he makes everybody around him better. He's not as good on the defensive end. Not necessarily as offensively forceful as Embiid, but I have him at 7.
Number 6.
And I'd have Joel Embiid higher. Now, Joel Embiid bothers me.
Okay, that I disagree with. I mean, I don't disagree with that like a ton. I'm still a huge Embiid guy, and I think I think Embiid is a way more dominant player. I just think like this is where I would like because Embiid and Jokic will always be compared as long as they're both playing at elite levels because they're the top 2 centers in the league, and no one like one of these two has really separated themselves from the other. Like Jokic and Embiid both got knocked out in round 2, but Jokic got the MVP this year. So it's like where. I mean, like, it's always, like, who's better, and, like, you can have either one. I just think that since they are so close, and every year for me, it's always, I don't care who's in front of each other, but since I will take into effect and take into account that Jokic won MVP, so I will always put Jokic slightly in front of Embiid. I think they always should be in a top 10 list, one spot behind and ahead of each other, because they are so close, I think, it's skill level, and where you would have these guys as the best players in the NBA. I just think, personally, since Jokic won MVP, I would have him in front of Joel Embiid.
In terms of injury issues, but he is a incredibly dynamic offensive force. He also led the NBA in free throw attempts with 11 a game. So Embiid gets to the free throw line, and pretty good free throw shooter, pretty good for a big guy, Embiid.
Pretty
Number
good.
5.
It's great. I think he shoots like 85, 86% from the line. Like, that's phenomenal for a big.
Luka Doncic. Now, 33 and a half points
all right,
a game.
So 4 Curry, 3 like Giannis, 2 LeBron, 1 KD, like something like that. No, he doesn't put Kawhi. Okay, I guess he's doing no Kawhi. I did Kawhi in mine. Maybe I shouldn't have done Kawhi in my tier list because obviously he's going to be missing probably all the way till like March. And maybe we'll come back for the playoffs in like the last month of April, or just April, the last month of the season. Okay, I had, I think for mine, spoiler, I actually had Harden at 6, I think, and Kawhi. And Luka at 7 with Kawhi at 5.
I think he's the best young player in the game. Virtually unstoppable.
Oh, really? That's what a take that is. I mean, if you're counting Giannis as not a young player anymore, which he's 26, so it's whatever you want to say, then I would say Giannis is better than Luka. But if you're saying Giannis isn't young, then yes, Luka's the best in the league.
The issue with him is more of a franchise issue. He was a shot fighter in the fourth quarters in the playoffs. They have got to allow him to play off the ball a little. They have got to get somebody else that can handle the ball and give him moments to play off it and not run through the whole offense, because he has to get in like great shape, or he's got to play about 6 less minutes a night, because it's very much James Harden. He's got the ball in his hands too much.
Number 4.
Steph Curry. Not a great defender, and I do worry about injuries, but he won the scoring title, led the NBA in three-pointers. I think he's maybe the smartest guy in the NBA, easy to play with, and I thought he had a fantastic year. He's not a great defender. I do worry about injuries.
Number 3.
LeBron James, 37 years old, career low 45.
All right, so he has LeBron at 3. I put LeBron at 1. So he's either going to have KD or Giannis at 1. I mean, it's what you really kind of go on the side of the spectrum. I'm not a huge LeBron guy. I'm not like a LeBron fan as much as other people are. I enjoy watching him play basketball, but that's really it. I'm not like a stan of LeBron, but I still put him at number 1 just because he's been so dominant for so long. I'm not going to take one playoff appearance where his second best player got hurt, and they ended up losing to the team that won the Western Conference. Really dropping from 1 to 3. Like, I think I would need to see another year from Giannis to put him at number 1, or a year where KD leads the Nets to a championship to put him at number 1. I think maybe even like KD losing to the Bucks, even though he was without Kyrie and Harden, or Kyrie and half of Harden, hurts him a little bit because I feel like that's where you prove yourself as the best player in the league. And hey, he was a shoe size away from proving that. It's really unfortunate, but you know what I mean? Like, that's where you prove yourself as the best player in the NBA. Because it's not like, all right, who wins the title each year is that. Like, it's like how you win the title, and can you do it again the following year? So, I don't know. That's just my opinion. I think I would still have LeBron at 1. And then if KD or Giannis wins it all next year, then I would probably take LeBron out of that. Especially if Giannis wins it all next year, then I would say he's the hand-in-hand number 1 player in the league. I just think, like, because I think we learned our lesson from saying Kawhi Leonard was the best player in the NBA after the 2019 NBA Finals, because it proves that he wasn't the best player in the league. Obviously, he had some injuries, and then he went to the Clippers, and it wasn't really great there. But yeah, like, I think we might be too soon to just yank that mantle off LeBron when the player that wins it all, like example Kawhi, can't prove it again next year. So I think we got to give LeBron the number 1 title still, because he's proved that he can win it in multiple years until Giannis or KD wins it multiple years, you know. So like Giannis wins it next year, KD could win it next year, and then all right, maybe he's the number 1 next year. Then we'll have him as like, all right, maybe he's not a definite number 1, and then if he wins in 2023, then he's the number 1. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense.
Games. Now I expect him to have a very, very good season. He is not athletically the defensive player he once was. You can't play him as many minutes.
He's actually pretty good defensively this year when the Lakers are one of the best defensive teams in the league.
He is a tad bit more brittle, but I do expect LeBron to be in the MVP conversation next year again.
Number 2.
Kevin Durant's the most gifted offensive player. My knock on Kevin is he gets hurt. He is a better offensive player than anybody else on this board. He is a 7-footer that is virtually unstoppable in the mid-range three-pointer. He's one of the greatest offensive players I've ever seen in my life. I would make the argument he can do more than Michael. He can do more than Kobe. He could do more than anybody I've ever seen. He's got it all. He's got every offensive tool. He's not a bad defensive player. He's not a bad passer either. But I've got to ding him because his style of game, and there's a lot of slashing and a lot of this, a lot of hitting the floor hard. That's where I have him number 2.
Because he hits the floor hard? What does that mean? So I think it's funny that he has Giannis number 1.
On both ends combined is Giannis.
He had him not even in his top 10 players 3 weeks ago. It's pretty embarrassing. So if anyone has a video, like if he doesn't explain it here, of him saying like apologizing or saying I'm in the wrong, I would love to see it. But he won't do that because it's Colin Cowherd.
He's not the free throw shooter or the shooter of Durant. You can certainly argue Durant's a better player. I don't have a problem with it. But if I'm considering health, style of play, and the defensive end, I mean, I think even Kevin would acknowledge that Giannis can do stuff defensively nobody in the world can. There you go. There's your top 10 players.
All right. Let me know what you guys think down below. Personally, like if Kawhi's healthy, I put him at 5 and then drop a lot of people down. But if we're saying no Kawhi, I would probably have Harden at 6, Luka at 7, Lillard at 8, Jokic at 9, and Embiid at 10. And then obviously, I think if we're keeping this, I would take out Tatum and still put in Anthony Davis. I know Anthony Davis wasn't great in this year, but he was hurt a lot. So I really won't take that into effect too much. I wouldn't say he's top 5 like a lot of people thought he was, but yeah, I would have him at probably number 10. So let me know if you guys enjoyed. Drop a like if you did. Love you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.